very good morning, Honorable Chair and the respective audience. Today the topic of my presentation is Sri Lanka in changing the world order together with BRICS. And BRICS means the group of Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa. Breaking the topic into some components, I'll be first talking about the existing world order and the necessity of changing this world order into a more democratic one. And then I would be talking about the importance of BRICS in this context. And also then would be coming to Sri Lanka and find out the principles of our foreign policy regarding changing the world order. And finally, how Sri Lanka can work together with BRICS in this scenario. Now, what is a world order? A world order or a system polarity means the number of blocks of states that exert power in the international system. So there are three types of basic world orders: unipolar, bipolar, and multipolar. Unipolar means there is one hegemonic power or an influential power in the world order which do not need any other's assistance in resolving or taking decisions about international disputes. Bipolar means there are two powerful or visible powers and they keep either cooperative or competitive relations. Multipolar means there are several key powerful nations who contribute to in resolving international disputes. So in understanding the existing world order, let me refer to Samuel P. Huntington. He says in his The Lonely Superpower that the current world order is neither a pure unipolar nor a pure multipolar. He names it as a unimultipolar, where the United States of America leads, but not individually, that there are certain powerful states who impacts on the decisions of the United States of America. So he says the settlement of key international issues requires action by the single superpower, that is United States of America, but always with some combination of other major states. Now, in understanding the other major actors, BRICS is very important to be understood. BRICS formed as a group of emerging economies, fastest growing economies. Brazil, as I said earlier, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. The concept of BRIC without South Africa at the end. BRIC, actually this concept was brought up by Jim O'Neill, he's an economist, in 2001. And he said these four nations together can make a huge contribution to the world, and therefore the world should look at these four nations in a different way, and these four nations should not get a lower glance anymore. Now, why BRICS is very important in this moment? By 2001, BRICS countries accounted for about 25% of the global GDP and more than 30% of global land area, 45% of the world population, just 5 countries. And in terms of innovations, investment opportunities, resources and labor force, market demand and other domestic importances. BRICS have held 5 summits, starting off in 2009 in Russia, 2010 Brazil, 2011 China, 2012 in India, and this year in South Africa. Now, after reading these 5 declarations, 5 summit declarations, I found some common features in each declaration, and I would highlight the final 3 points. That BRICS, they believe that they should get more representation because they are regional leaders in their respective regions in the international arena. And also they demand multilateralism, that is a multipolar world order where certain nations have equal power to contribute in the decision-making process. And also they are highly interested about international affairs. Let me talk about these 5 nations, the potentials of these nations, and how Sri Lanka keeps bilateral relations with these each individual country. Firstly, Brazil, one of the fastest growing economies and called as a new land of opportunities and the largest economy in Latin America. Sri Lanka had relations since 1960, but we opened our diplomatic embassies offices only in 2007. Russia, which is always say that Russia is never as strong as she looks, never as weak as she looks. So Russia has become a wonderful country in the world history, and Moscow and Colombo always had warm relations since 1957, and Sri Lanka enjoys trade, economic, technological, cultural, and political relations with Moscow. India, a nation of diversity, a mix of tradition, modern, rich, poor, best, worst, unity, divisions. And with this mixed nation, with this neighbor, Sri Lanka kept more than 2,500 years long relationship. By today, Sri Lanka is one of the major recipients of development credit given by India. China has now become a very influential global power, especially being the second largest economy in the world. Sri Lanka maintains very warm, close and cordial relations and always appreciate Chinese assistance in countering terrorism and for all the other development projects. The world's richest country in terms of mineral reserves, world's largest producer of platinum, and third largest gold miner in the world. Sri Lanka established diplomatic relations with South Africa in 1994. So it's very clear that Sri Lanka already keeps very warm relations with these BRICS nations individually, bilaterally. Now coming to Sri Lanka, let's understand what are Sri Lankan interests in changing the world order. President Mahinda Rajapaksa in 2005 in his Mahinda Chintana said, "It is my belief that the United Nations Organization and international financial institutions should be more democratic in their approach. We will actively intervene in this regard." Furthermore, in delivering his speech in 61st session of United Nations General Assembly in 2006, he said that Security Council of the United Nations should be strengthened because it does not reflect current geopolitical realities, and it needs to be a more democratic decision-making process. And also the current economic world order should be more democratic. So it's very clear, Sri Lanka as a capable country, as a capable state, is also demanding a more democratic, a multilateral world order. So since we are now keeping only bilateral relations with these countries, I suggest to have multilateral relations, more tight political relations with these countries in order to contribute to change the world order into a more democratic world order, to a multipolar world order. Thank you very much.